Hey, welcome to class. This class is titled Easy Like Sunday Morning. Just hoping to get that sort of Sunday morning laid back vibe. So we'll do some heart opening, some light movement, and of course some nice soothing stretching. So let's get started. Let's lie on our back in Supta Baddha Konasana. I forgot to mention you may need a couple blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use a book, but they're not necessary. So you're going to lie back. And especially in the morning, I like to do a little bit of heart opening. So I'm going to take my larger blocks. If you don't have blocks, you could use like a pillow or something like that. And I'm going to place it lengthwise underneath my shoulder blades. And then another block higher up for my head support. And again, I'm just placing that block right underneath the shoulder blades. And the other block goes underneath your head. And then your legs can either be outstretched or you can place them with the soles of the feet to touch in Supta Baddha Konasana. And if you have extra blocks, you could even put them underneath the thighs. Sometimes in the morning we're not super warmed up. And wherever you land, you want it to be somewhat comfortable. So if it's not, take a moment to readjust. Just allow your arms to melt out to the side. And start to breathe. Starting to cultivate this idea of relaxation, ease. Many of us are hunched over a lot during the day. So it's nice to really open up the shoulders, open up the chest. And each time you exhale, really practice letting go so your body's literally melting over the blocks or just melting onto the floor. Since we're talking Sunday morning, maybe you imagine that you're this pat of butter just melting over your toast, your avocado toast. Keep breathing for a few more breaths. And to come off of your blocks, if your knees are apart, just bring your knees together. To come off, just roll gently to one side and just move those blocks out of the way. Come and lie on your back and hug the knees into your chest. And you can take the knees wide here, if that feels good. Or you could take happy baby, you could have the big toes, knees wide. Sometimes it feels nice just to take the knees wide. and knees together, hands behind the knees. Just slowly rocking up, making your way onto hands and knees for cat-cow. Inhale, just melting the belly down. Exhale, rounding the spine. Just making every movement feel good. If something feels particularly good, maybe you linger there for a couple breaths. And come to a neutral spine. We'll take thread the needle. So your left arm reaches underneath, melting your left shoulder towards the floor. Coming onto your right fingertips. This pose sort of reminds me of like a lazy Sunday nap. Or maybe watching a movie, it just feels good. And coming back up, thread the needle the other way, right arm comes under, melt your right shoulder near the ground or on the ground. Coming back up. You can take a few more cat-cow, or you could make your way into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Hips up and back. Maybe pedaling out the knees. And if your body's feeling tight or sort of resistant to the stretch, you can take your feet nice and wide as your mat, or even wider if you'd like, and just rock the hips side to side. And walking your hands back towards the feet, Uttanasana, forward bend. Nice bend in the knees, especially again if your body's feeling on the tighter side. If it's not feeling on the tighter side, just enjoy. Easy like Sunday morning. Let your neck just be relaxed and melt down. Little bend in the knees, just roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Chin's the last thing to come up. Stand there for a moment. And from Tadasana, just making your way to the front of your mat. We'll just do a little heat building and some Surya Namaskar A. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale and fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen. Easy step back, plank. And And drop the knees lower. Exhale. Inhale through cobra. Press the feet into the floor. Collarbones spread wide. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just being nice and easy on your body, wherever it's at right now. Spread the toes, spread the fingers. On your next exhale, step the feet to the hands. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold down. Root and rise. Big inhale, arms come up beside you. Exhale. Again, inhale. Exhale and fold. Nice bend in the knees. Lengthen, inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back, plank. And lower, exhale. Smooth through cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Really pressing into the hands, tops of the thighs lift up and back. Next exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Root and rise, big inhale. Exhale. So coming into tree pose, Vrikshasana. Standing on your right foot and drawing the left foot into the thigh. And just finding a relaxing spot for your arms. Sometimes it's nice just to press the palms to the heart. Sometimes it feels really nice and juicy to interlace the hands behind you. Rooting down in that right foot. And release. Just shake out the legs. Other side. Tree pose, Vrikshasana, grounding your left leg. Right leg comes up and in. Maybe starting with the palms at the heart center. And if your balance is off, which some days it's amazing, some days it's not, just try and smile and relax. And optional hands interlaced with the opposite finger on top. And release. Dancer pose. I'll just turn to the side so you can see. So standing on your right foot, just bending the left knee, reaching towards the inside of your left foot. You can stay here. You're getting a nice shoulder opener, keeping the right hand at the waist. Or you could reach the right arm up, a little bend in your right knee, and just starting to, if it feels good, reach it forward. Maybe pressing your left foot into your left hand. If you have a pet nearby, you can gaze at them and smile. Couple more breaths. And release. Just shake out the legs. Other side, stepping on the left foot, reaching for the inside of that right foot. Again, you can stay here. This is also a nice heart opener, strengthening and quad stretch. Or you can reach the left arm up. Start to hinge forward. And today my palm is just facing up. There's just something inspiring about that. Like you're open to receiving all of the amazing things that have not happened yet today. Maybe press your right foot into your hand. If you're feeling grateful, you could even bring your left hand to your heart. And release. Stand in Tadasana for a few breaths. And again, coming to the top of your mat. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale and fold, Uttanasana. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. And just lower the knees down to the floor and bring your right foot forward for low lunge. If balance is an issue, you can keep the back foot tucked. I'm taking a quad stretch here. So I like to come more onto the top of that back knee instead of being on top, if that makes sense. So coming more above the left knee. And then maybe bending your left foot. This may be enough for some of you. Or you could reach back with one hand or the other. Just finding a spot that works. Or if you're feeling really frisky, maybe it's a Friday, but you want that Sunday morning feel, maybe you could take your hands, both hands, to hold the foot. So again, just finding a variation that works for you. And release. Down dog, but lift that right leg up and back. Maybe bend the knee and open up the hip. Whew. And bringing that right knee forward for pigeon. You can stay upright. If your right hip is off of the floor a bunch, you could take your block or a pillow or like a sweatshirt or something and place it underneath. Again, you can stay upright or start to melt forward and down. Definitely a huge fan of having my head supported in this pose. This pose sort of reminds me of like curling up with a good book or a magazine, and it's quiet. If you're lucky, it's quiet. So again, just coming back to that vibe of easygoing, ease in the body, very little effort. And each exhale, you're just melting down, relaxing. And slowly coming out of here. This time just coming onto hands and knees. And just rocking the hips side to side. And bringing that left foot forward this time, low lunge. Setting up here. And let's see if I can make more sense on this side. Instead of being right on top of the knee, if you can sort of stretch the knee back a touch so you're not right on top of it. Setting up for that quad stretch. Maybe you just lift the back foot off the floor and that's enough. Or maybe even stay here today, maybe that's enough. Or maybe you start to experiment with different places to reach that back foot. Even holding on with both hands. If that's what you're feeling today. Release in a non-slingshot way if you can. Hands down, down dog, left leg up and back. Maybe opening up the hip. And reaching that left knee forward for a pigeon. Definitely no tension in your face, in your neck, in your jaw. Maybe staying upright or taking it down. Finding a support for your head. And just a fun little trick, if you have your head supported, instead of the skin on your forehead pulling up, like if the block was pulling away, you want the skin on your forehead pushing down towards your nose. This is just going to help you relax. The other way is almost going to create more tension. And slowly coming up to hands and knees, and just rocking your hips side to side. And when you're ready, taking child's pose, Balasana, knees wide, big toes touch. And coming to your back. Knees into the chest. Simple spinal twist. Arms come out to a T. Just rocking your hips to one side. And bringing the knees back to the center, and just dropping your hips over to the other side. Coming back to the center, setting up Shavasana. Taking a moment to clear the area of any props. And maybe rolling the ankles a couple times, rolling the wrists. Letting out a big sigh. Taking rest. Allowing your breathing to become natural, so there's no effort in the breathing. taking rest in Shavasana. Just allowing yourself to soften here for about 1 more minute. See if you can release even more. Starting to take some deeper breaths. Stretching the arms up and over nice and long. And rolling over to your right side after you bend your knees. Pressing yourself into a seated position. Just sitting up nice and tall, closing the eyes for a few moments. So often we're just inundated with information and constantly moving and having to be this place or that place or do this or that it's nice just to let your body and your mind have a few moments a day to be still. Taking your hands and Anjali Mudra at your heart, just sealing in that stillness, some of that peace that you can take with you anytime, anywhere. Let your lips curl up into a smile. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with us today.